in terms of what the industry we invest in internet-based businesses. So that's all I can really talk about. I can't talk about biotech and clean tech and some of the other large areas of the venture business. We're still very optimistic about what's going on in the internet sector, and the industry kind of goes in waves, and there was a big social networking, social media wave that I think has played out over the second half of the last decade, and there's still interesting investments to be made in that sector. But I think that there's a lot of new things happening, particularly around e-commerce. Some of the most exciting investments over the past 2 or 3 years have been in the e-commerce sector. Companies like Gilt Group here in New York, Etsy here in New York, and Groupon, which is in Chicago, is a group buying service. These are e-commerce companies, but they're not e-commerce in the traditional sense of sort of Amazon e-commerce, but they're new and different takes on e-commerce. And I think that realization that there's still lots of innovation to be had in e-commerce is going to produce some more interesting, exciting investment opportunities. Mobile is clearly a huge growth driver. Mary Meeker's mobile internet report that she put out at the end of last year, she said that she thinks there's going to be 3 to 5 times the number of internet-connected mobile devices as there are internet-connected desktop or laptop devices. And if you just think about the market from that perspective, that's that many more people and that many more applications and that many more business opportunities that present themselves on the mobile platform. Today, I think the mobile platform is largely about downloadable applications in the way that the PC industry worked for many years. You had to download software to run on your computer, and you could buy that software or you could get that software for free, and that's kind of the way it works today on the mobile phones. But I really think that we will ultimately see with HTML5 and some other technologies, we're going to see browser-based applications on mobile devices that will be rich and app-like without having to require any kind of download. And that's going to take some development. People need to understand how to do HTML5, and we need to see better connectivity, more reliable connectivity. For anybody who flies Virgin back and forth to the West Coast now, you're connected all the way across country now, and that's a big deal, I think. And hopefully someday we'll be connected in the subways and other parts of our life where we can't get connected. But I think having mobile devices that are connected to the internet all the time will allow us to move to browser-based applications on mobile devices, and I think that's sort of a 5 to 10 year kind of trend line that's going to provide a lot of interesting investment opportunities. And we've made a few ourselves, and I think we're going to be making a lot more in that area. And I really kind of think of that as an extension to internet investing, because in most cases a lot of the application is still running on servers somewhere on the open internet, and the amount of technology that's actually has to be downloaded onto the device is not that large. So we see that largely as an extension of the internet, and I think with these mobile devices opening up with things like Android and the competition among the carriers getting more and more fierce every day, I think we're going to actually get to a much more open infrastructure, mobile infrastructure, that's going to allow for a lot more innovation. So those are two kind of big themes that I see out there that are interesting to me, that we're investing in and excited about. I also feel, talk a little bit about New York, since we're here in New York, and these are two business schools in New York. I think there's been a lot of discussion about the New York internet sector and is it hot? I don't really know how to assess that exact terminology, but what I would say is that I think it's a better time than ever to be a venture capitalist in New York, and a better time than ever to be an entrepreneur in New York, because lots of things have started to percolate here now that are good for both venture capital and entrepreneurship. Some of those things are a real development of a vibrant angel and seed and early stage investor community. There's been 5 or 6 new early stage funds that have started up in the past year, and I think there's going to be more. I think we're seeing more and more serial entrepreneurs, successful serial entrepreneurs turn into angel investors, which is very typical of what happens out in Silicon Valley, and that's very healthy. And I also see lots of entrepreneurs coming here and interested in starting companies here, and you know, I see a lot of young developers choosing to come to New York and work here as opposed to Silicon Valley or other places. And I think, you know, it makes sense if there's a vibrant technology startup community here in New York and you're a young developer right out of college. I think it makes perfect sense that you'd want to come work here. I think if I could live anywhere when I was in my 20s and right out of school, I'd live here in New York. It's a better social life. It's an easier lifestyle. You know, you can go out all hours of the night and have fun and work hard too. And that really doesn't exist in the office parks and sort of suburban culture that really is what Silicon Valley is all about. So I think, you know, you're going to see more and more of the best and brightest young software developers consider coming here to New York. And, you know, there's also 1,000 engineers at Google here in New York, and a lot of other companies now have 100, 200 engineers. Other than, you know, there's always been the banks and brokerage firms that have had lots of engineers, but there's a lot of other companies now that have large engineering teams. So there's always, even if your startup doesn't work out, there's another company you can go get a job at, and that's all very healthy. So that was about 15 minutes. So I think on that note, I will turn it open to questions, and you know, I'll take questions for as long as you want to ask them, until whatever, 8 o'clock.